Chris the Nightmare Real, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Now this fight right here, man, I can see this fight still in the show on the undercard to Joshua and Molina. I know Ortiz and Allen are both on the card too, but I think this one may still the show. I was looking at the betting odds and I see Dillian Whyte is a minus 285, so he's like a 3-1 favorite in this fight. And I can understand the odds makers for picking him as the favorite. The younger guy, the fresher guy, hasn't been in as many wars or taken as much punishment as Derek Chisora has. Although he's only 4 years older, Chisora is than Whyte. Just the fights that he's been in, and just seems as if he's been around much longer than Dillian Whyte. But, you know, when I break down these styles, man, I see this as a much closer fight. And this is a fight that I'm going to favor. Well, first, let me just go over what I think before I get to that. All right. Dillian Whyte, okay, when I watch him, obviously the toughest guy he's been in there with is Anthony Joshua, hands down, right? I seen his last few performances. He came back from his surgery of his shoulder against David Allen and Ian Lewison. And I can tell that Dillian was working on some new things, especially in the Allen fight when he was going to southpaw and trying to just throw some combinations, fight on the back foot a little bit, use his jab, circle a little bit. So I did notice that. And he was trying to give Allen and Lewison just different looks. He even went to the ropes against Lewison a few times, try to work off the ropes and, just show different facets of his game. And that's a good thing. So I do see a lot of promise there when I watch Dillian Whyte. It's not as if I don't see any promise. I see a lot of promise in the kid. But I'm not completely sold on his stamina. And I know a lot of fans are. I try to go to his Instagram and his Twitter, and I try to look up as much training footage as I possibly can. And obviously he's not going to have every single thing in there. But mostly what I see is a lot of strength videos with him doing pull-ups and different things with weights. And I've seen a few cardio type of things. Obviously, he's not posting his sparring up there. He's not posting his road work up there. He's not really I've seen him post a video of him on a bike and another cardio machine that he was on. I forget the name of it. I think it was like that row machine where he's rowing. So obviously he's working on some conditioning. His diet seems decent, So, but when I watch the fights, like when I watched the Lewison fight and the Allen fight, he seemed to get a little bit gassed in my opinion. And he was able to fight while he was tired in those fights because he was the one that was really dictating the pace, in my opinion. Allen was putting pressure on by coming forward, but he wasn't throwing anything. He wasn't feinting enough. He wasn't making Dillian Whyte react to different things. He was just walking forward, but he wasn't throwing anything. Lewison became like a plotter too, where he was coming forward, but he really wasn't throwing nothing. He did throw some nice jabs. One jab particular, I believe in the first round, that backed Whyte up against the ropes. It was a nice hard jab. Just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, man. It just wasn't enough. So Whyte was able to dictate the pace in those fights. To me, I thought he could have placed his shots a little bit better in the Allen fight. He was throwing a lot of filler shots, man, where he was just, just running off combinations, not really much on them. A lot of them were arm punches. A lot of them, his feet weren't set. He was just kind of moving, kind of fighting on the move, but he really wasn't turning his hips into it. It was just kind of just arm punches, filler punches, and then he'll probably place one here and there to the body. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't that crisp type of work you want to see. Some of it was kind of muddied a little bit. It was a little bit muddy. Now, he was winning the fights hands down, all right? I'm not trying to make it seem like these were close fights. He was winning them, hands down. I'm just trying to nitpick here and take away some things that I've seen in his arsenal that I think that can be exploited by Derek Chisora on Fight Night. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to dictate the pace in this fight. Derek Chisora, now, when I see him, the thing that pops out with him is he has a good left hook. He likes to fight kind of a la like a version of Joe Frazier to some degree, right? He likes to bob and weave and then come up with left hooks and, deflect your punches with his gloves. Sometimes he'll throw up the cross arm defense. Sometimes he'll give you the left shoulder and bend at the waist. I mean, he'll give you different looks that comes from his experience. He's not going to be intimidated of Dillian Whyte by any stretch. Now, some of you may say, well, White's not going to be intimidated of Chisora. He's been in there with Joshua. Fair enough. But Chisora's definitely not going to be. I mean, he's been in there with Fury twice. Klitschko, David Haye, Pulev. And I know some of you don't think too much of some of these other guys, but just experience-wise, these are decent fights. Helenius, Edmund Gerber, Malik Scott, Kevin Johnson. Those are good fights to have to build your experience. He's been in there with the way more experienced guys than Dillian Whyte has. So the pressure of this big fight, this big moment, I don't think will get to Chisora. Whyte can get very wound up at times, man. Very emotional. Like he got like that with even before the David Allen fight. Like he didn't want to touch gloves and just making just a lot of extra shit. Just making this extra activities. You know what I mean? When it really didn't have to go down. And then how about the Anthony Joshua fight? I forget which round it was, but the bell rings and he's trying to throw extra shots and they have to come in the ring and break them up. That could be a gift and a curse sometimes, man. That's a double-edged sword. Sometimes that can lead you to victory. Sometimes, it could be a downfall for you, man. And we know that Derek Chisora isn't the one to really speak about anybody because he has his moments too. Almost damn near could see this fight going to a DQ. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like who can get under whose skin first when the bell rings. But now Chisora at times he can be a plotter. He can plot, but shit, that's when he's in there with guys with great jabs like a Fury or a Klitschko. Vitali and Tyson Fury can make anybody look like a plotter. These dudes are 6'7", 6'9", with good jabs and long, nice reaches. They know how to fight from a distance and fight tall. Dillian Whyte really doesn't fight like that. He may use his jab, but he's not really that type of guy. To me, he's more of a mid-range fighter. Yes, I know he went on his back foot a little bit and showing different things in the Allen and Lewison fight. That's because he was able to, they were allowing him to do that. They were allowing him to dictate the pace. I'm not sure he's going to do it with Chisora. Chisora was coming forward against Haye. He was coming forward against Klitschko, Fury, but those guys were turning him, Klitschko and Fury were turning him and using their jab. Pulev has one of the best jabs in the division right now. And he was landing, it was hard for him to really find the range on his jab a little bit because Chisora was bending, showing him different looks, deflecting the jab. He got hit with some good jab, right hand combinations. Pulev did land some of those. But Chisora was doing a good job in that fight. Even the Helenius fight. Helenius is a 6'8", 250-something pound guy. Now, we can argue that Dillian Whyte's better than Helenius. Fair enough. But as far as being a big guy with a good jab and a decent right hand, he is one of the more difficult guys to deal with that's rated in that, like a top 20-ish type of heavyweight. I'm not saying he has the best jab and right hand. I'm just saying Helenius is a big guy, to get on the inside. Duopa was able to do it, because he was able to pressure him a little bit and land. But I'm not trying to make Helenius out to be a world beater, but I'm just talking about the size, the jab, and his right hand. All right. And I don't think Whyte fights like that. He's more of a mid-range guy. He'll try some things if you allow him and if there's nothing for him to really fear. To me, his defense was a little bit tighter. He was a little bit, he performed a little bit better in the Lewison fight as far as keeping a tighter defense, in my opinion. But I don't know, man. Chisora sometimes he can go, he can turn into a plotter at times too. He can put up the high guard, and sometimes he'll just be walking you down. If you keep a jab on him and turn him, you can beat him. You know what I mean? But man, Chisora, man, I just don't know how Whyte's a 3-1 favorite. Chisora, the Pulev fight, one of the judges gave him the fight. Even in the Helenius fight, he lost both those fights by a split decision. A judge in each of those fights gave him, thought he won the fight. I think Chisora is going to have to do what he does best, which is come in behind his jab, come in behind the bobbing and weaving and ducking, and jab to that stomach. Slow Whyte down a little bit, because I think his stamina is suspect anyways, so work his body early. and we'll really see what type of stamina he has going into round 5, 6, 7, 8. Um, and when I say I question his stamina a little bit, it's just because when I see White sometimes when he's pulling back and he's on defense, you can kind of see like the heavy breathing. Now, of course, these are big guys. I'm a big guy myself. I'm 6'5", 240, so I understand about, you get a little bit tired. He just shows it. He really shows how tired he is sometimes, just with the heavy breathing. His legs look kind of unsteady at times, although he has strong legs. I've seen a guy work out in the weight room. He has strong legs, but sometimes, when they get tired and fatigued, they can go jello on you a little bit. And his defense falls apart, in my opinion. Chisora will at least still have his hands up, when he's plodding around and he's tired. I think Chisora may be the better fighter when both of these guys are tired. When the when the fatigue starts to kick in and the stamina lessens, I think Chisora may be the one with the experience too. Being in those situations will have the last laugh, man. But close, interesting fight, man. But I would favor Chisora in this fight. I would favor him. But I know they're going, the odds maker going with the younger guy. And this power punching stuff that people are attaching to Dillian Whyte, of course he can hit. All these guys can hit to some degree. But I don't put him up there with like Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, even Klitschko's right hand. I don't put him up there with the heavy hitters of the division. Of course he can crack. The dude 6'4", 250 pounds or some shit. Of course the dude can crack, man. He had Joshua on Queer Street for a moment. Of course he can crack. But I think Chisora has a good left hand too. Was that the first Fury fight when he had Fury buzzed a little bit there? You know what I mean? He had his moments too. He had his moments too. And I just don't see White on the level of any of the top guys that Chisora had to face coming up. And I know a lot of people don't like David Haye and all, because he blamed his toe and he pulls out of fights and some people don't like his diva attitude. Okay, with that said, when David Haye is on in the ring, he's a tough dude to beat, man. He's a tough dude to beat, and Chisora was trying to walk him down and get after him. It's just David Haye, we know, especially the 2012 version of David Haye, likes to fight with the low hands. You don't know where the punches are coming from. He has power in both hands, and he caught Chisora coming in trying to, I don't remember exactly, I think Chisora was trying to reach around his waist or something, and boom, he got hit, got dropped. You know what I mean? Haye got them fast-ass hands. White doesn't play shots like that, doesn't have that type of foot movement or can punch from awkward angles like that on the move the way David Haye is much more gifted than Dillian Whyte. All right. Pulev is gifted with a much better jab than Dillian Whyte. Fury, we know what he does. We know what Vitali used to do. So, and I know these guys have history. I guess they sparred in the gym. I've heard different accounts of what happened. I mean, you could take that for what it's worth, whether it was Dillian Whyte getting the best of him or Chisora getting the best of him. I heard somebody had a tape of it. Whatever, man. December 10th is going to be new territory. Because this is the headgear's off and thousands of people will be there watching it. This isn't in the gym. Thousands of people will be there. The spotlight's on. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a good fight, man. Dylan, he showed different facets of his game, like I said, but I still think his bread and butter is coming forward. I really do. I just think he was able to do the whole back foot thing and work on different things with Lewison and Allen because they're a little bit more limited. And Lewison, although he was a good amateur, he was, kind of out of shape nowadays. Not really, he can't put out a high activity rate. So I want to see how White looks when he's reacting to feints, when he's reacting to a constant jab on him or a good left hook that I think is going to land on him. We'll see if he's willing to go against the ropes in this fight like he was in those other two fights. I'm not sure he's going to be just so willing to get up against the ropes and let Chisora tee off on him. Chisora also had to deal with a lot of clinching with some of those other big guys that he fought, the jab and grabbing of Pulev, Fury. Those guys boxed him, used jabs and boxed him. Even Helenius to some degree was, although Chisora was coming on strong, wrapping him up. White really doesn't seem like that he wants to wrap you up guy. He wants to fight it out, which is great for me. It's great for me. I like that he likes to do that. It's great for us as fans. But it's a damn good fight, man. I think it's going to be a damn good fight. I think this probably be the fight of the night on the card, I know the Joshua fans and MOLINA fans probably have a different opinion, but just stylistically, then the history is there. I think this has the opportunity to be fight of the night on the card. I'm going to favor Derek Chisora, man. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Shit, it is what it is. But I have my reasons. And I'm willing to see what Chisora looks like on the scales. I know he was in Russia. He's been in Russia preparing for this fight, working out with Povetkin, and Brian Jennings is in that camp. Dominic Gwynn is in the camp. We know he's very durable, Gwynn. So he's been getting some good work in Russia. The pictures I've seen him take, I've seen him take a picture with Jennings and Povetkin. He looks pretty slim in the pictures that I've seen. I want to see what he looks like on the scales. If it's an in shape Derek Chisora, White's gonna be in for a hell of a night. If it's an out of shape, because Chisora, he has these, he's up and down sometimes. He'll come into the Pulev fight weighing 240, and then the few months after that he fights what's the dude's name? Draza Janjanin, and he came in like 265 almost, or 264 or something. So you could tell mentally he's not preparing for some of these guys. He's preparing for this one. Hopefully he's not leaving it all in the gym. I post a lot of videos of Dillian Whyte, doing strength conditioning type of stuff, pull-ups and different type of weightlifting and doing neck exercises and calf squats and all types of shit. So he's going to be powerful and ready too. You know what I mean? But I'm going to favor Derek Chisora in this fight. I won't be surprised if Dillian Whyte wins, but I'm going to go with the experience. Usually I go with the youth and all that, but I'm going to go with the experience. Sometimes experience does win out. And just the experience of being in there with high caliber fighters and going, deep into fights. It's nothing new for Derek Chisora, but Dillian Whyte can crack. He can crack. He can crack. So, and he has been, now if he can do what he was doing against Allen and Lewison in this fight, as far as, switching to southpaw and running off combinations and play some here and there and try to walk Chisora to the ropes. And if he can get away with it and do it, I'll be highly surprised. But I just don't think it's going to go like that. I think he's going to be forced into a fight. And I think we're going to see a fight. I don't think we're going to see this circling and boxing with this one. I think it's going to be a fight, man. But you guys let me know what you think. Who are you favoring? Why are you favoring them? Let me know what you think in the comment section, man. I'm out.